up. Good morning. How's everyone doing? What a welcome after a couple days off. Hope everybody was enjoying all of the soccer, all of the Wimbledon. You and I color coordinated here today.
Great minds think alike.
Vinny Goodwill, Jason McCourty, Courtney Cronin, Brooke Pry. We've got Brian Windhorst here as well. So much soccer to get into on the way, but we start with our lead story. And stop me, guys, if you have heard this before. We are waiting on yet another LeBron James decision. The basketball world waits with bated breath to learn where he will play in year 24, and Philly remains a pretty intriguing destination. Sixers president Bob Myers was asked about what his pitch to LeBron would be. Here is what he said.
If he was here, I'd say I honestly believe this is your best chance to win. You have to decide all the other things that are equally important. What I would just say is, if it's about winning, and that, let's talk about this team, because you can win here in Philadelphia.
Okay, so that is about as direct of a pitch, guys, as you are going to get. Bob Myers, who runs the Philadelphia 76ers organization, Vinny, giving that pitch to Max Kellerman, Rich Paul, LeBron's agent. So what do you hear, Wendy, when you hear Bob Myers, his words, the recruiting style? What is that telling you about Philly's process in trying to get LeBron?
Well, it's more about the entire LeBron process than anything, because this is how the 76ers are getting to talk to LeBron. That was on Rich Paul and Max Kellerman's podcast, but it was essentially a meeting with LeBron James. That's how you talk to LeBron in 2026. In 2010, he had 3 days of meetings where everybody came to an office building in Cleveland in $10,000 suits, and Jay-Z came to pitch him. In 2014, Dan Gilbert his jet was being tracked as he tried for a clandestine meeting in South Florida. In 2018, Magic Johnson stood on his driveway until free agency opened and then walked into his house in Los Angeles to make the pitch. Now you come on a podcast, and this is where we go as LeBron plays golf and works on his short game. So this is a demonstration of how the game has changed and how long the LeBron career and free agency processes have been.
Yeah, I'm amazed that he's still at the epicenter of free agency all these years later. You just referenced the decision, which was all these years ago, the anniversary being yesterday, July 8th. Are you amazed when you think about this process that he's still at the epicenter of free agency and dictating his own terms?
Yeah, and I think it's for a completely different reason. 16 years ago, the New York Knicks spent 2 seasons getting themselves into position where they could pitch LeBron James. He dismissed their pitch in a matter of minutes. And then now, because he's willing to play for essentially next to the league minimum, any team has the option to go get him. So it's a completely different situation. Back then, there were just really a couple of teams he was considering. Now he could consider 10 teams, as Rich Paul outlined on another recent podcast interview. I don't think he's actually considering 10 teams, but the idea is that if somebody could get a player like LeBron's caliber for next to nothing in NBA dollars. And so while it is a repeating of LeBron being pitched, in some ways, it's extraordinarily different and very unique.
Yeah, Vince, I want to bring you in here. When you hear Bob Myers in the words, the process that he's trying to use here, what stands out the most?
Just the fact that we're doing this on reality TV. Like, this is the most reality TV. This is the most 2026 thing of all time. The fact that we're not having clandestine meetings and high rises in Cleveland or Miami or LA or wherever. You're having on a podcast with Rich Paul and Max Kellerman. Like, that is where we are in terms of the basketball culture. But when I hear Bob Myers talk, it's almost like he knows that he doesn't have the best hand here. He doesn't know who has the best hand, but he knows that he doesn't have the best hand. And the most important thing is this. We all have to be honest, and Wendy is like the prince of pessimism when it comes to these things. We don't know what LeBron wants. Normally it's a max contract and then another max slot to bring one of LeBron's teammates along. But right now, LeBron is at the stage of his career and his life where money is not the most important thing. We don't know what matters most to him at this stage. If it's winning, if it's comfort, whatever it is, and we're going to find out what that is based off of his decision. And the most important thing Wendy said is, you're talking about a veteran minimum player, so to speak, who can command a lot more. Are you going to ask him to do max salary contract things on a minimum deal?
Yeah. It's a good point. Wendy, let's drill down here on Philly. What makes that the most attractive destination for him and the most attractive selling point from Bob Myers?
I'm not going to make that case because I don't necessarily know if it is the most attractive, because you're making a basketball case, and what LeBron has said is it's a happiness case. Can he be happy living in Philly? But I will say a big factor here is Tyrese Maxey. I know that so much of the focus is on Jaylen Brown because that's how Philly got into this conversation. They traded for Jaylen Brown last week. But the reason I think he's seriously looking at Philadelphia is because of Tyrese Maxey, and that connection is with Clutch Sports, his agency that he is, basically a founder of alongside Rich Paul. It's the Tyrese Maxey connection that draws him in. That was the same thing with Anthony Davis that got Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and the reason that LeBron would have interest in playing with Anthony Davis if he were traded to the Golden State Warriors in the coming days. And this is not just a Clutch Sports thing. All of the top level agencies will have their clients work together. But this is a Tyrese Maxey thing. You would really want Tyrese Maxey sitting next to Bob Myers making the pitch, and I'm sure he has.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part here, because I think once the Jaylen Brown trade happened, we all thought that might have been the biggest selling point, but we can start connecting some dots here via agency and seeing what might be the best fit for LeBron James. Maybe it's in Philly. Maybe he will help them win their first world championship since 1983. Okay, more on this in a bit, because the World Cup has now reached.
Big story on NBA Today. LeBron James remains a free agent and at the center of speculation as his latest decision looms. Next season would add to his record 24th season in the league. And Steph Curry was asked today about LeBron potentially joining the Warriors. Here's what he had to say moments ago.
Say more so, I'm interested to just play golf with LeBron. We'll handle the basketball stuff, but I want to see the golf LeBron free agent. He's out here really grinding on the game, but I'm sure we obviously would love to play together. Hopefully it happens, but he's deserved the opportunity and the right to take his time with the decision.
Steph there at the Celebrity Golf Tournament in Lake Tahoe. No doubt they would love to play together on the course and on the court. Senior insider Shams Charania joins us now. So, we're trying to read all these tea leaves, obviously. But as far as you know, what is the latest with LeBron?
And LeBron James, Rich Paul, they're continuing to sift through the leading contenders, the different options, the different teams that have been pitching Rich Paul over the last week since LeBron James informed the Lakers that he's going to be moving on elsewhere. That includes Golden State, Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia, Minnesota. What we do know, though, is LeBron James wants to be in a competitive, competing environment. He wants to play meaningful basketball, I'm told. But as far as the timeline, there is no timetable. LeBron James does not appear to be in a rush. The last couple weeks has been a lot of family, friends, and golf for LeBron James. Over the last couple weeks, he spent time in the Ohio area, in Akron. He spent time with his close friends and family. That includes Brandon Weems, his close friend, longtime childhood friend, who is now a leading executive with the Cleveland Cavaliers under president of basketball operations, Kobe Altman. And so the golf, the family and friends time, that's continuing this week. Another friend he's going to be spending some time with, my understanding, is Draymond Green. Draymond Green also is a free agent right now. And remember, he declined his $27.7 million player option to try to give the Warriors increased flexibility to go after LeBron James as a free agent, potentially bring in another co-star like an Anthony Davis as well. We'll see what happens with those pursuits over the coming few days and weeks.
He's got a lot of friends. I'll give him that. So we'll see if any of that means anything when it comes to his latest decision. Shams, thank you so much. So we have LeBron at age 41, putting up significant numbers last season. One of just 4 players to average 25 and 5 on 50% shooting, joining Giannis, Nikola Jokic, and Alperen Şengün. His agent, Rich Paul, and Max Kellerman, his co-host, had Bob Myers, who's president of the Sixers ownership group, on their game over